Hello, in this video I'm going to explain about open economy basic concepts from Macroeconomics Mankiw chapter 18. First, let's talk about net exports or NX. Net exports is a difference between exports and imports. Exports are the goods we sell to other countries, and imports are the goods we buy from other countries. The formula is net exports equal exports minus imports. If exports are higher than imports, that means we have a trade surplus. But if imports are higher, we have a trade deficit. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine Indonesia sells coal to China worth $1,000. At the same time, Indonesia buys smartphones from South Korea worth $700. So net exports equals 1,000 minus 700, which is 300. That means Indonesia has a trade surplus because exports are more than imports. And now let's see an example where net exports decreases. Suppose Indonesia imports more goods like cars and electronics worth $1,500, but only exports $1,000. Now net exports equals 1,000 minus 1,500, which is negative 500. This means Indonesia has a trade deficit. A country can have a trade deficit when people prefer import goods or when domestic production is not enough. Next, it's net capital outflow or NCO. NCO measures how money moves between countries for investment. Let's use a simple real-life example. Imagine an Indonesian investor uses $500 to buy shares in a company in the United States. This means money is leaving Indonesia, so net capital outflow increases. Now let's look at the opposite case. Suppose a company from Japan invests $8 to build a factory in Indonesia. This means money is coming into Indonesia, so net capital outflow decreases. So in simple terms, if we invest abroad, the money goes out, so NCO increases. If foreigners invest in our country, the money comes in, so NCO decreases. NCO is important because it shows how countries are connected through financial investment. Now let's understand why net exports always equal net capital outflow. NX equals NCO. Let's go back to the first example. Indonesia exports coal to China worth $1,000, so Indonesia receives $1,000 from China. Now the question is, what happens to that money? Indonesia can use that money to buy goods from other countries or to invest in foreign assets. For example, Indonesia might use that $1,000 to buy stocks in the United States. This means money flows out again as investment. So when goods are exported, money comes in, and then that money flows out as investment. That is why trade and financial flows are always connected. So in the end, net exports will always equal net capital outflow. A simple way to remember this is when goods go out, money must also move somewhere else. Now let's understand how saving, investment, and capital flows are connected. In an open economy, we use this equation. Saving equals investment plus net capital outflow. Let's make this very simple. Imagine a country saves $1,000. This money can be used for two things. The first one is for domestic investment, like building roads, factories, or businesses. The second one is for investing abroad, which is net capital outflow. For example, out of $1,000, $700 is used to build factories inside the country, and $300 is used to buy assets in other countries. So saving equals 700 plus 300. Now let's look at another situation. What if a country wants to invest $1,500 but only has $1,000 in saving? There is a shortage of $500, so the country needs money from other countries. This means foreign investors will invest in that country. This is called capital inflow. For example, foreign companies may build factories or invest in local businesses. This situation often leads to a trade deficit. Let's take United States as an example. United States often relies on foreign capital because its investment is higher than its saving. Now let's talk about exchange rates. First is nominal exchange rate. This is simply how much one currency is worth compared to another currency. For example, $1 equals 15,000 rupiah. That means if you exchange $1, you can get 5,000 rupiah. Now let's look at the real exchange rate. This tells us whether goods in one country are cheaper or more expensive compared to another country. Let's use a simple example. In Indonesia, a cup of coffee costs 30,000 rupiah. In the United States, the same coffee costs $3. If exchange rate is $1 equals 15,000 rupiah, then $3 equals 45,000 rupiah. So, coffee in Indonesia is 30,000 and coffee in USA is 45,000. This means Indonesia coffee is cheaper, so people might prefer buying from Indonesia. Now let's talk about purchasing power parity or PPP. PPP means the same goods should have the same price in different countries. In theory, if something is cheaper in one country, people will buy more from there and prices will adjust. Why PPP works? Because people look for cheaper goods. And why PPP does not always work? First, transportation cost. For example, shipping coffee overseas is expensive. And the second one, taxes or import restrictions. And the third one is some goods cannot be traded, like haircuts or rent. So PPP is a good idea but not always perfect in real life. I choose the United States as my case study. The United States often experiences a trade deficit because it imports more goods than it exports. But at the same time, the US receives a large amount of foreign investment. This means money flows into the US, which is called capital inflow. So net capital outflow is negative. This happens because investors trust the US economy. In recent years, the US dollar has generally appreciated due to strong demand from global investors. For example, higher interest rates set by the Federal Reserve attract foreign investors to invest in the United States. As a result, the US dollar remains one of the strongest and most widely used currencies in the world.